don't want to turn this into a competition, but like, I win.
Keep it a stack. This is something I wish I knew earlier on when it came to rhinestoning garments. It's not always placed one by one, so if you see a consistent pattern, this is probably how it was done. There are boards that you can have laser cut into the pattern that you want and into the size of the rhinestone that you need. So the red layer is a static layer that helps the rhinestone flip into the correct position, and you use transfer paper to transfer the pattern from the board to the garment. This allows you to apply multiple rhinestones at once using a heat press machine or an iron. This crystal reference card is going to be the most important thing that you own, especially if you plan rhinestoning a lot. I like that it shows you the sizes of the crystal, so it gives you an actual visual of what that's supposed to look like, and it also provides you with the colors of the crystals. The name of the crystals are, I've noticed, they're usually consistent across the board between different retailers. And I like that it includes a temperature and time chart at the bottom, especially for when you're using hotfix crystals. Once you've decided on the size and color of your rhinestones, you want to make sure that you're buying hotfix crystals. This means that there's glue on the back of the crystals that when you heat up, they will melt. Now the thing that you guys really want to know about are these rhinestone template boards. And the cool thing is these can be made in whatever design that you guys want. For me, I wanted something a little bit generic that I can keep using over and over. So I chose a SS16 board because I felt like that was the middle size. And as you can see for reference, this is like how big of a pattern piece can fit on there. If your pattern piece is too big, you're gonna have to do it in pieces. These are laser cut boards and they have a 2-week turnaround, so definitely factor that into your design process. I'll provide you guys with the email in my description below. I clearly bought everything in bulk. I also just bought this huge roll of transfer paper for like $70, but you can buy it by the yard. And what this transfer paper is, it's like one side is sticky, and it's what you're going to use to apply to the rhinestones and pull it up. You're going to cut it in whatever shape you want. You can even cut it in the shape of your pattern pieces. And then you're going to lay it on your rhinestone board, making sure to press down really well so that it can really grab a hold of those rhinestones. A quick tip is if you're going to cut it out in the shape of your pattern pieces, do it without the seam allowance so that you're not putting rhinestones in the seam allowance, and you can still sew by machine together those pieces. If you're not going to heat press right away either, you can also just put the non-woven back onto it and save it for a later time. But if you are ready to rhinestone your garment, just take that sticky piece with all the rhinestones and put it wherever you want onto the garment. So now that we have our rhinestones all on a single sheet, how do we apply it to the garment? There's something called a heat press machine, and what it does is apply heat evenly to a surface. The surface is, again, limited, so if you're working with a larger garment, you are going to have to do it in pieces. And it's still annoying, but at least it's a lot faster than you placing the rhinestones one by one. So you're going to take that sticky part with all the rhinestones and place it exactly on the garment how you want it. And then you're going to cover it with a cheesecloth so the surface of the rhinestones don't get damaged. Then you'll just pull the handle down and wait for the countdown to end. Sample a small test area before you really go into it, because if it's too hot, you can burn the rhinestones straight through the fabric, and that's not what you want. You can see here the rhinestones are kind of pressing through the cotton fabric, and this is either because it was too hot or I kept it on for too long. Here's some example of my past work where I've rhinestoned the pieces. Yes, there's still rhinestones missing, but I can just go back and add those in. But as you can see, the majority of the surface is already covered. If this was helpful to you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe.